Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Recency Bias Radio Rant. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game, Ultra Smith Dog Trill, all of the above. And this is where no one is safe from criticism. And this one is going to be entitled Betas, Floaters, and Recruits. You can call it BFR for short. You know, this entire week has gone exactly how I said it was going to go on Sunday. Nothing has changed. Jess had her opportunity to put on the big girl pants. She had her opportunity to jump in front of something for once and not allow production and Paul to completely dick her around. But once again, she takes the approach of playing it safe. And I told y'all what it was, man. Playing it safe in this game is nominating people of color. But I'm not going to reiterate those same talking points. I always like to let a rant be its own universe of information, and I always try to move it along. So in this episode, we're going to get into the floaters, the recruits, the betas. We're going to get into Robyn Kass on her recent podcast with Russell Hantz on his show, his podcast. We're going to get into that as well. And we're also going to get into how CBS has found a way to rig the next HOH, exactly like I told you guys they would rig it. Now, I told you guys in the last rant, I told you that most likely they would find a way to make sure the next HOH comp would be some type of, is someone really ringing my doorbell right now? Fuck that shit. We doing this rant. So I told y'all in the last episode, okay, I told y'all that most likely on Thursday, there's going to be some type of a HOH competition where Cody is going to have to win the HOH to guarantee him and Jess will be safe. I told y'all that. And I also told y'all that they will go out of their way. Man, these motherfuckers. I told y'all they would go out of their way to make sure Cody can't win this competition. And what do? They try to create a memory comp. I told y'all. I thought it was going to be some type of a memory comp as to where he would have to remember what happened in the past weeks of the house. But they flipped it on us. They made them watch some video. They cut off feeds so none of us could see it. And it's crazy because if it's the majority versus the minority, if there's like roughly 4 people, but really 3 people competing for HOH versus probably about 10 or 11 on the other side. Well, maybe it's less than that. Maybe it's like 9 on the other side once Ramses goes. I don't know. But man, hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. This is pissing me off. I don't have it. Next time we'll definitely have it. Sorry about them technical difficulties. The motherfuckers just keep ringing my doorbell. Like, god damn. All right, we back. See, man, with Recency Bias Radio, you get shit that can just unfold at any moment. So like I'm saying, production is rigging this next HOH so Cody can't win it. Why? Because they know Mark, he's not going to remember this shit. Them niggas was playing chess all night last night. And then you got Elena, Mrs. Double Agent herself. You know, it's interesting. Elena all of a sudden wants to go against Paul once Dom is gone. But this is just another example of somebody who could have worked with Dom to get at Paul. But she didn't want to because she wanted Mark to herself. So it's like everybody is waiting for a certain pin to get pulled out of the Jenga puzzle. Everyone is waiting for a Jenga piece to get pulled before they actually try to win the game. You know, Christmas now all of a sudden is pissed off at Elena. My theory on why she's pissed off at Elena is because the same way that Elena didn't like Dom for Mark is the same reason why Christmas doesn't like Mark for Elena. And she's holding Elena responsible. She's like, oh, well, she's just going to flip on us like that. It's like, well, damn. Why does it seem like every time someone does something to benefit their game, the other side takes it so personal? Christmas, what have you truly done to be selfless in this game? You have won nothing. You have been spoon-fed all of these type of advantages. You have done absolutely nothing, but your entitlement is why you want to target Elena? I thought that was your lesbian love interest. All of a sudden, that's not good enough because Mark is kissing on her. The same way that shit wasn't good enough for Elena when Dom was hanging out with him. It's tons of love triangles right now with Mark, and Mark is the biggest beta in the house, and that just lets me know the selection is so poor that they're just trying to grab on to any straight man at this point that isn't already taken. You can't take Jason, he's married. You can't take Kevin, he's married. Okay. No one wants Josh. Okay. Paul, come on now. None of these ladies are attracted to Paul. They just need Paul to get further into the game. I mean, we're at a point now where it's so petty. It's so petty. And I'm definitely going to get into the Josh pots and pans situation as well. But this game has gotten to a point now where I thought the feeds were unbearable before. Now they're truly unbearable. They're so unbearable now that Paul and all of these other people on the side have to tell Josh to pull an evil dick move. Like, I'm talking to people on Twitter. I'm trying to explain to them why this move is trash. They're like, oh, but it's good feeds, man. Oh, it's so great. And I'm trying to explain to them the reason why this shit is trash is because, well, number one, it's unoriginal. Okay, if you're going to do something that's going to truly fuck up the entire dynamic of the house and you're going to nuke it, at least do something that's never been done before, Josh. You are tap dancing for these white people again. Okay, and he doesn't even realize it. He thinks he's playing the game as he should play it. Like, you know, when he was acting sad, that wasn't all acting because he was crying. Okay, he's an emotional guy. Okay, but you can't be the guy who's in the bathroom crying. By the way, why in that Big Brother episode did they show us the bathroom footage of him crying? You know, are we supposed to know they have a camera in the bathroom? Like, talk about a breach of privacy on that one. But at the end of the day, though, we don't care about you crying. Well, we don't care about you banging pots and pans if all you're going to do is cry. That's basically what I'm saying. You know, if you're going to be a badass, truly grasp what it means to be a badass and just do it all the time. Don't pick and choose when to do it, because that's habitually line stepping in the house. And that's no different from you fans that, oh, well, Jess made the right decision. This week goes on. Everyone's waiting for her to use the veto. They're like, come on, Jess. Come on, Jess. Do something with it, Jess. She doesn't do it. And it is funny because I tried to tell y'all a long time ago, man, Jess is incapable of making big moves, man. She has proved it time and time after again. And she admitted it. She said, I have made a lot of bad moves. And I told y'all she's made several moves, several chokes in succession. Now, all of a sudden, she wants to regret not saving Dom. Now, she won't voice that opinion out loud because it could alienate one of the few allies she has in Elena, who still somewhat hates Dom. But she regrets not making that move more now than ever. Because if it was possible for Mark to flip over, he would have definitely flipped over if Dom stayed. He would have felt guilty. And he's a bitch when it comes to Cody. So he would have flipped over regardless, right? So she had possibly at least four people, including herself, on her side regardless. There was no reason for her not to risk it. She's lying to people, telling them she'll be her temptation is better than Paul's. I'm all for lying to people about your temptation being better than Paul's, but eventually they're going to call your bluff, okay? And you're going to have to use it in 2 weeks anyway, which is going to make people think, oh, okay, this is all this was? You know, Jess has to be very careful. Cody, I like what Cody's doing, but he's kind of becoming a beta to Jess now. He's got his eyes too caught up in the love thing, right? And he's not being that same alpha that he was before. I think he got humbled by being sent home, being in sequester for a whole week, and now he just wants to stay with her as long as possible, which is understandable. But at the same time, though, I need Cody to man the fuck up. And the reason why we call this episode Betas, Floaters, and Recruits is because, I mean, motherfuckers was coming up to me not too long ago, and several people of Black Twitter. This is a huge topic of this episode. People are trying to tell Black people that we need to be as outraged about Ramsey's using blackface as Paul. And these are white people saying this. You're not going to hear this from Black people, okay? But it's a lot of people in Evil Dick's comment section, mainly, because he's one of the few people who was fearless enough to actually bring it up. But he asked the question. He said, so is it racist for Ramsey's to wear blackface? And I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm going to have to school Evil Dick on what it means to be racist as a Black person towards Black people. We don't consider that racist. We consider that cooning, okay? So I went ahead and let him know, well, first off, this is called cooning, okay? Second of all, Ramsey's is doing all of these things to try to acquiesce and become cool with all of these white people in the house, and it's not working. So that plays a role in this as well. And third, this doesn't make what Paul did any less racist because a Black dude is doing it. So then I flipped it on him because he responded back to me, oh, this has nothing to do with Paul. Yes, it does, because you wouldn't ask if this is racist had we not had an outrage about Paul previously. So for you to act as if the two aren't connected is you getting on white supremacist code. So I wouldn't allow him to get on code. So I called him out, and then I put up a tweet that basically said, for all the white people that think we need to have the same outrage for Ramsey's wearing blackface as we did with Paul, you must be the same exact people that think it's okay to use the N-word because black people do it. See, when I say something like that, that is so deep, that cuts so deep, that's so intellectually ahead of the average person, they have no response for me. Now, all of a sudden, I have white people in my mentions telling me, no, I don't like that at all. I'm not racist. I was against Paul doing it too. See, when you counteract their code, their SWS code, when you counteract it with code of your own, when you're smart enough to be able to decode their shit, then they have they have no type of point of view anymore. All of a sudden, they want to play the middle again. But you should see his comment section when he asks if Ramsey's racist. There's tons of white folks under it saying, oh, I don't hear any black people. I don't hear TMZ. I don't hear E. I don't hear Tariq Nasheed. I don't hear Perez Hilton. It's like, why are y'all so mad that people aren't as outraged? First off, people aren't going to be as outraged about something happening the second time as it happened the first time. That's just common sense. Okay, because shock value kicks in the first time around. After one time, people get desensitized to a certain degree. So they're going to be less pissed. Are they still going to be pissed? Yes. Am I still holding Ramsey accountable for his actions? Yes. But I've told y'all several times, I don't give a fuck about what this kid does. He's a fucking coon. The dude was tap dancing when Dom went home. You think I feel sorry for this guy because he's getting sent home? No. I just feel bad that a person of color is guaranteed to go home. See, from this point further now, it's going to be Dom versus, well, they can always put up Dom and Alex, I guess, which will be just like week 2 in a way. But no one spoke on that either. Paul, he put up 2 people of color, and who ended up sitting next to them as well? It ended up being Ramsey's because he ended up utilizing his curse. So we've had 3 people of color on the block at the same time as well. So all in all, people be out here trying to act like the shit I'm saying isn't true. But I have been proven, I have been vindicated, which is why I can just keep saying the shit that I want. And if you don't like it, find another channel. But if you do like it, subscribe, like, and share this shit because we're going to get into this shit even further. So what I want to know is, why is Ramsey's helping people in a memory comp remember shit when he's not even being saved? You know, Ramsey's, shouldn't you be up in the HOH room with the people who are guaranteeing you they're giving you your vote? Everybody Ramsey's goes up to. I just saw Ramsey's talk to Matt just now on the live feeds because I'm trying to see what's so lit about these live feeds ever since Josh did the pots and pans thing, which we'll get into later. And for the most part, Ramsey's is talking to Matt and Raven. Raven's not saying anything. She just eating some fucking Fruit Loops, like waiting for Matt to say something for her, right? And Matt says, oh man, just stay out the way, man. You're dangerous, man. It was almost like Matt was trying to subconsciously tell him why he's more of a threat than Josh, right? He basically told him, oh, don't speak your mind. Don't go around asking people. Just let us get rid of you and just deal with it. That's exactly what Matt was doing. And Ramsey's, you know, Cody pulls Ramsey's into the room and he tells him specifically, he says, you need to put on the waterworks. You need to cry to Raven right now because sympathy, she lives on sympathy. She breathes on sympathy. Essentially, he's saying that sympathy is her oxygen. And it made me laugh because it's the truth. You know, she's fucking around walking on crutches all of a sudden. I'm like, oh my God, man, get the fuck out of here. And my problem with Jess is, Jess talks such a big game about how no one is going to ever put up Raven because they feel sorry for her. And Jess, if you were you should have been someone who practiced what you preached, okay? No one is going to put up Raven if no one puts her up for the first time. No one's going to put up Paul if no one puts him up for the first time. For people to just assume, oh, we'll have our opportunity, but for now we need to gather numbers. That's the most dumb shit I've ever heard of, okay? Because if you don't put him up, you don't put no pressure under him, and then you don't get to see whose true loyalty lies to Paul. By not putting Paul up, By putting two people of color up that are basically floaters, okay, all you're doing is allowing Paul to work in the background and get shit done without even knowing. He knows you're not going to put him up, man. He knows it because production is letting him know it. How did Paul know this competition was going to be a team comp? In other words, a memory comp. How did he know this HOH coming up was going to be a team comp? Because somebody tapped him up in production and told him, okay? Paul was prepared for all of this shit. They picked this competition at the perfect time because this is a competition Christmas can win. This is a competition a majority alliance can win easily. And there was someone in my Twitter trying to tell me, oh, majority alliance lose these type of comps all the time. It's not guaranteed they'll win it. And I'm sitting here like, okay. So I had my response ready for this because this is the straw man's argument. So I said, okay, so how many times because she tried to basically allude that I don't watch Big Brother and this is my first season. I need to watch more of it or something like that. That's what a lot of people do when they don't really have nothing to back themselves up. They don't have a specific season. They just talk in general. So I said, okay, name the season where a majority alliance had production's darling or production's favorite on it and they lost a challenge like this. I'll wait. She couldn't think of it. She just told me to go back and watch. I'm like, oh, well, I stumped you. I stumped you completely because you cannot debunk what I'm saying. They will not allow Paul's team to lose this. And there are people saying that because this is a memory comp, it'll take too long and there won't be a double eviction. Look, there'll still be a double eviction. It'll probably be one of those comps where they all are like standing. It's like the A and B twist comp or the true and false type comp. And Julie is probably going to ask them so-and-so and so-and-so, true or false. Was this picture had three pairs of green pants in it, true or false? And they're going to have the option to put true or false. You can do a memory comp without having to make it a long comp. So you guys are thinking of those comps that are later on in the game, okay? Y'all thinking about those comps where people are on bungee cables and shit like that, and they're flying around, putting pictures up. All that's late game shit. This stuff has to move fast, okay? Has to move fast. And the only reason why they're doing this is to guarantee Jess uses this fucking temptation. And now I want to get into Robyn Kass. I don't know if you guys checked out the Russell Hantz show. He has a podcast that's on iTunes. I don't know what other format is on, but for the most part, I'm listening to his podcast. I'm like 20 minutes in, and I'm trying to have an open mind because people are telling me Robyn Kass is dropping gems. And I'm starting to realize in the first 20 minutes, she's damage controlling hard. And she's real defensive. And it feels like Russell, who's known for being like this guy who isn't scared of shit, he's throwing her a whole bunch of softball questions that she could just hit out the park. And I'm starting to get offended because I know better to believe the shit she's saying. So she starts lying about recruits in this podcast, trying to imply that somehow because recruits go through the same process, there's no advantage. So here's what I'd like to equate recruits to. We all went to high school. We all had that star player on any sport. How many times did that star player legit have to do his homework? How many times did that star player legit had to work to pass in his classes? Usually the professor/teacher gave him the benefit of the doubt because he knew he was representing the school in a positive light, right? These recruits are the same exact way. Think of them as franchise players for a season, like a franchise tag in the NFL. They're put on there to guarantee a certain amount of views and ratings are averaged. This is on the show, okay? This is why Paul is on the show. All of these people are on the show to serve this purpose. So for people to act as if these recruits, well, for Robyn Kass specifically, to act like these recruits aren't handpicked by her and then don't have an advantage is bullshit. Because she even admitted that she loved Frank and he didn't make it to season 12 or 13, but he made it to 14. And you made sure he made it to 18 as well. And he dug his grave in 18. I love the guy in 14, hated him in 18 for several reasons. And the same thing is happening to Paul. Okay, so you guys do have favorites, and when you do have favorites, once they make it on the show, you guarantee they get a second chance. So don't give me this bullshit that being a favorite of production doesn't help you in any way. That's all bullshit. That's her speaking on code. Okay, she's talking about we incentivize everyone to be themselves when they do these interviews. That's bullshit as well. And then she talks about how we make them pass the psych test, and we also say a few things to them to see how they react to make sure they're mentally ready for the house. Well, what questions did you ask Josh? Because this motherfucker, he couldn't make it past a psych ward test. I know he can't. What you asked Jillian? What did you ask Megan? Okay? Obviously, some people you didn't ask the questions to. You pick and choose who you ask these questions to. And I'm starting to believe you don't ask them to anybody, which is why I call bullshit. I couldn't even listen to the rest of the pod, bro. Once you start seeing someone damage controlling to such a heightened level, you know that there's an agenda at play here. She knows people are watching this season being pissed off at the amount of recruits. So what does she have to do? She has to go to a big platform, okay, that doesn't have a comment section. She was smart to do that because we would have called bullshit on her early in the game. And I don't believe Russell's show is on YouTube. So she knew we would have called bullshit. So she chose a podcast with no type of a comment section. All right. And then she starts spewing all of this nonsense around, and she thinks we're dumb enough to buy it. Oh, yeah. Keep on trying to make it on the show. You can make it over a recruit. Fuck out of here, okay? The recruits, they got first priority every single time, okay? And that's why this episode is called Betas, Floaters, and Recruits, because 99.9% of the whole damn cast is fucking recruits. We thought Jess was a super fan. She's not. I mean, Josh, you know what? He might be a super fan because I see him talking to several people, but I'm not too sure he's watched that many like past seasons. I'm talking before BB10. I'm not 100% sure on him just yet, but I'm just getting tired of the fact that people congratulate Josh for doing dumb shit, for cooning in a way, because he's tap dancing for these people, okay? People condone that type of shit because it's good feeds. It's entertaining, okay? Then people sweep under the rug how terrible he is at the game by saying shit like, well, the entire house is bad, so why point out Josh? Well, if Josh is standing out as a terrible player in a house full of bad players, it only goes to show just how bad he really is. See, I can flip that entire argument on its head, but they don't want to get into that either. So I just want to get into right now, how does it benefit Alex, Jason, and Kevin's game to not keep Ramsey's? Can we speak about this for a second? Because I've done the math in my head, and Ramsey's was Alex's ally from day one. So he'll never put her up. Jason, what has Ramsey's ever really done to you? I don't know. Kevin, you're being right now portrayed as his father figure on the show. So you have a lot to lose by losing this kid, because this kid thinks the world of you. And right now, Kevin is doing all of Paul's dirty work to make Ramsey's feel assured right now. What is my conspiracy corner theory to all of this? I think Big Brother went out of their way to make Kevin seem like such a nice guy towards Ramsey's last week. That way, when Ramsey's gets stabbed in the back on tonight's edit, they'll most likely make Kevin out to be the person who set Ramsey's up to fail, or they can at least position Kevin in some way to the American public as being more of the bad guy in this situation than Paul is, when once again, Paul is responsible for it all, okay? Notice this production team and this editing crew, they go out of their way to give Paul credit for all of these moves, but they also place the blame on someone else every week, okay? Last week, they did it with Alex for the most part. They placed the blame on her for the whole Dominique thing. And then they also placed some of the blame on Dominique herself by bringing up all this religion, making her speak in tongues on TV, stuff like that. But then Paul was able to say, oh, well, I want the credit for it, but don't blame me for it. You can't have it both ways, Paul. And really, I thought he was one of the few guys. Jason and Kevin combined are about 80 years old. The fact that both of them are following a 24-year-old man, the fact that they are following him in such a way, it just disgusts me. Because it's like, bro, Kevin, you have 25 racks. You don't have to listen to this. Jason, I get it. Alex is a blind follower. That doesn't mean you have to be a blind follower, okay? Jason right now is letting Ramsey's wear his t-shirt, lay in his bed. What are you letting him do all this shit for if you're just going to send him home? I mean, I feel like a lot of these tactics are just really Bush League. They're really dirty. Why do you have to blindside Jess and Cody? I mean, why do you have to blindside the kid? You know, I don't like the kid, but is all of this necessary? You know, oh man, this is going to screw with their heads. This ain't no competition where you have to really be physical or nothing. You know, Cody's not good at memory. Mark's not good at memory. It's only up to Elena to win the shit. And even then, we know what's going to happen if she wins it. Production is just going to coerce her to do something for Paul again to help burn Jess and Cody's temptation. We know what's going to happen. And since I believe this is going to be a double eviction tonight anyway, please look forward to this entire temptation being gone by the end of the night. Look forward to it, okay? Because the odds are in Paul's side's favor completely. And I personally don't think production wants Jess to have this power in her hands much longer. I just don't think they want it, because the longer she has the power, the longer she can think of a way to outsmart production and Paul with the power. They don't want her to have those options. So, of course, they're going to try to create a scenario that will be most likely for her to burn it tonight. And I think that's what's going to happen. Big Brother right now is all about ratings. And I have a feeling this pots and pans situation will make it on tonight's episode at the last second. It'll probably be like a 5-minute montage of meatballs. You know, it's like, and really the meatballs thing that Josh does, I think is the corniest shit ever. But hey, I'm a black guy. Maybe I don't look at it like you guys like, oh, it's all in fun and games. Like meatballs. Like, what does that have to do with any? Like, I just don't get it. But hey, maybe I'm thinking too hard. I don't know. But let's talk about what's going to happen if everything I've predicted is going to go down on Thursday. So let's say someone from Paul's side wins HOH. Let's say they nominate Jessica Cody in a double. As the eviction is happening, she utilizes her temptation to save herself. Week resets. Show is over. We move on. Friday comes, and we have to figure out who the new HOH is come Friday on feeds or whatever. So what I think is going to end up happening is, see, my question with this temptation is, if Jess nullifies the next week's vote, does that mean she can compete for the next HOH? Because technically, if she rewinds the week, she shouldn't be allowed to compete for HOH again, because she was technically the previous HOH, right? That's where this entire temptation becomes sticky, which will allow production to rig it again to make sure Jess can't compete. Because if they're rigging this to make sure she burns the temptation, then they can rig the one after it to make sure she can't compete. And then it's the same numbers. Okay, but then they can do it exactly how I said they could still do it with the past weeks in the house. So we need to look out for all of these things. I mean, I don't really care about what Robyn Kass thinks anymore. I want to go straight to the horse's mouth. I want Allison Grodner to tell us how this shit goes down, because you got to go up the chain of command with these people. Okay, let's stop talking to these small fry. You know, Allison Grodner has her favorites too now. Like, let's not forget about that. I mean, but any other house guests I haven't touched on in this episode? Yeah, for the most part, Kevin, Jason, and Alex, for them to think that not keeping Ramsey's over Josh, it just shows that Paul's game right now and production's game right now, they are convincing them to do a move. Matter of fact, they're convincing everyone in the house to do a move that doesn't help their individual game at this point. And Alex, she has no shot of winning this game. I don't know what she thinks. She has no shot of winning this game. Her social game is trash. She literally, when she literally lays in the bed for like 30 minutes. When Paul isn't around for a while, she jumps out the bed and walks around and looks for him. That's her game. It's essentially Ravens with Matt. I think Alex just wants a showman's with Paul the whole time. But Kevin, man, they're going to do you bogus, man. They're going to really do you bogus. And I don't know how Kevin, in these DRs, I don't know if he's going to play up the teary eyes to make it seem like he cares about Ramsey's more and more or whatever. But Kevin, man, you ain't had to do Ramsey's this way. Now, from what I'm being told, somebody already low-key told Ramsey's he's going home. But for whatever reason, Ramsey's is still believing the reassurance that is being told to him as well, that he's not going home. Ramsey's is really just a goofy. I just don't understand Ramsey's. I don't understand how he made it past casting. I would love Robyn Kass to do a questionnaire live on Periscope or something, okay? And have a whole bunch of super fans come in and have us all ask her questions one by one by one. See, we know how to phrase our questions so she can't dance around the answer we want. See, right now, Robyn Kass it's ironic. Robyn Kass is playing Big Brother, talking about casting of Big Brother. Okay, she's lying to our faces, telling us what we want to hear because she doesn't want us to stop watching, knowing that it's a rigged product. Okay, and it's going to be up to us to corner people like her and Grodner and figure out the true answers, because this is all bullshit. And at the end of the day, Evil Dick, he has an obligation because he's an ambassador of the show. He's a former winner. He can't really speak out on the season being terrible. He can say, I don't like the Paul show, because that implies once Paul's gone, he'll like the show again, right? He can say stuff like that because it's safe enough for him to do. But Evil Dick will never go out of his way to call out CBS. CBS, I mean, they gave him $500,000. They gave his daughter, I don't know if she got paid $50,000 or $25,000. But at the end of the day, though, CBS has done wonders for his family. Okay, they helped him mend fences with his daughter, so he's not gonna go out of his way to speak on that. But I will. You know, and Robyn Kass says she wants people to be themselves. Well, if that's the case, why is there a guy in one of my comment sections telling me, hey, bro, I got an idea. Why don't you act gay during the casting process so you get selected? This is an example of how bad it is for straight black men, ladies and gentlemen. When another black man has to suggest that I act gay to get picked on a show, you guys can't deny that there isn't some type of agenda against the straight black man. This dude told me I should act gay. Bro, first off, I'm not finna act like anything I'm not to be accepted by nobody. And I think that's why people like me. I think that's why people tune into me, because I don't placate or cater to the PC community. I say the things that is on my mind. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinions, you know? You don't take it personal, I won't take it personal. But at the same time, though, the fact that there are people with ideas of acting gay just to get on a show they love and then revert back to their normal self as soon as they make it on. Like, wow. Like, that's a telltale sign of where casting is right now. And Robyn Kass, we need to make sure she sees this video. The fact that there are straight black men contemplating being homosexual just to have the Ramsey spot on this show, there's a problem. There's a systematic problem. The same way there's a systematic problem in our country. You know, right now, this is a microcosm of our country. And it's up to you at CBS to be the bigger person and to allow for better change. So, BB20, you have a huge opportunity in front of you. You can storm. See, BB10 was great. You can start a new generation of Big Brother players. You know, you see all these players in Survivor that have become all-stars, all these second chance seasons. They wouldn't be possible if they didn't hit on so many casting choices. Big Brother right now, whenever they bring somebody back, for the most part, it's the same pool of players. Okay, you got to take some chances somewhere. Okay, BBOTT should not be your feeder club to the big show that is Big Brother on CBS. Okay, we need BB20 to be the Cook Islands of Big Brother. I want 4 Asians, 4 Oriental. Let me not say Asian, because Asian is an enveloping term that can mean Indian in certain cases. It can mean Australian in certain cases. So I want 4 Oriental. Okay. I want 4 white, Caucasian. Okay. I want 4 black. Okay. And I want 4 Latin. Okay. Just give it to us. Let's see. If this is supposed to be just a social experiment, then let's have every single social dominated race in the game. And let's give them all equal opportunity to win the game. Let's see if we'll have the same amount of cooning from Ramses on a season like that. Let's see if there is a white player who's willing to side with the minorities to go against the other white players. Let's see if these dynamics come into play, because they'll be way more entertaining, I guarantee you, than what we have right now. 12 white players versus 4 minorities. One of the minorities is fighting amongst the other 4 to become the token minority that will get dragged along the final 6. It always happens this way every fucking season. Let's change up the formula. Let's do something that will increase not only the palette of the game, because right now the color scheme in the game looks bad. The color scheme looks trash. Once Ramses goes, I mean, really, the color scheme, it looks all the same. Like, if you take Josh and Alex, right, and you put them into a room by themselves, The entire house looks like fucking, I don't know, a late 1990s MTV Real World episode. I'm not saying turn this shit into College Hill. I'm just asking that you give every single majority race, that you give all of them a chance to win the game. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for too much. Is this asking for too much? Please comment in the section below to let me know if I'm asking for too much. I think I'm being quite fair here. I think a lot of people are being unrealistic, talking about the population and all this shit. See, that's code talk. That's, oh, I don't want there to be less white people than other people. That's that type of code talk. I'll stop watching if there's not 12 white people on a season of 16. That's code talk. I don't care about the population, okay? Shows like The Challenge right now is cracking, okay? Cracking, because they have great lead characters of all races, size, shapes, forms. They have that shit in bundles and bunches. We need the same thing to happen for Big Brother, because Survivor, they don't have no problem. Shit, Survivor Australia is better than Big Brother US. Think about that. Survivor Australia. Matter of fact, look, Survivor New Zealand is better than Big Brother US. So for all the people that think this, oh, it's not broke, don't fix it. Ho, 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 ho. No, there's a lot of stuff that can be fixed with this game, and it's up to us as fans to vocalize these opinions. You know, once we start feeling like we have no impact on the culture, we might as well just stop watching it completely. And I'm not going to lie to you. If I see another season like this season with a whole bunch of racial undertones and a whole bunch of casting choices that don't make sense. I mean, they literally picked Jillian because she's a blonde-haired white woman who had weight loss surgery in Brazil. That was literally her story for why she got picked. But look at a black person like Dom. She got picked because look how rare she is of a person. A black woman from the South, highly educated, working for the government, and she's a fucking engineer, a nuclear engineer. Like, look at all of this. Look at all the qualifications. Look at the resume a black person needs to have to get chosen, and look at the resume a white person needs to have to get chosen. A white person doesn't even need a resume. And people keep saying, oh, well, Dave, you have some type of animosity towards white people. No. I'm just speaking on the truth, and it's making you uncomfortable. So the only way you could dismiss me is by calling me a race baiter or a racist. But the truth is, the stuff I say, there are facts behind it. There are statistics behind it that you can't deny. Okay? Let's talk about the statistics. Let's not talk about how you feel about me as a person. Okay? Because as long as you keep the conversation on me as a person, you're doing exactly what I thought you would do. You're using your suspected white supremacist rhetoric. So this has been the Sixth Rant, Six God, betas, floaters, and recruits. I am your humble host, Dave Smith. This is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. And please comment under this. Please comment below if you guys would like some more ideas for the stuff you want me to talk about in the next rant regarding Big Brother. Please comment below. Also, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, give me your honest opinion. Comment below what you think is going to happen in this double eviction tonight. Comment below if you think Jess has choked this entire time. Comment below for any reason, okay? But all in all, subscribe and share, and I truly appreciate you guys' support because I'm truly one of the only people that's doing it out here for my community, and I don't take this thing lightly. So your support is always loved out here, man. Y'all be safe, man. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully we get a new HOH that isn't a puppet. That's all we can ask for. But yes, Big Brother, listen to me, man. Please, just give us 4 Latin, 4 Oriental, 4 white, and 4 black. What are y'all scared of? What are y'all scared of? For really, though. Y'all have a great day, though, man. Y'all be smooth. Squad.